Hey, we're back with another video. It's 9:31 and I am in the process of doing laundry, and I decided to appear in this video. Thought that would be kind of a nice change, right? So anyway, I was thinking a few days ago about, how I have tried to be stable, when it came to work and having, a consistent job and not having any gaps in my employment. But obviously there was a situation in place where that couldn't happen. Dealing with workplace mobbing and, the sabotage of my goals. And so I did a video earlier today about the extreme competitiveness of, families. First of all, there's rules that are usually set in place. Usually that's in company handbooks that talk about this sort of behavior, okay? Because it's something that does happen often. And, in this case it's extreme, okay? But this has been covered in company handbooks, and I will go a little bit into that a little bit later. But anyway, some of the things I was thinking about were the reasons why, I notice a lot of people have kind of accepted, I'm kind of, back up a little bit. Some people kind of accept, being at work on a job for like up to 2 years. Okay, that's become almost the norm now, And let me see if this is adjusted. I think it's a little bit better. Yeah, so 2 years on the job is now kind of considered the norm, okay? Whereas, most people, growing up, wanted to stay on their job much longer than that. Like my father worked for a company for years and years and years and years, and had he not gotten sick, he probably would have retired at a very, at that company for being pretty much there for, more than 20 years. And that was pretty much what most people would strive for. That's what I've always strived for. Unfortunately, not just myself, but many people are leaving because they're not satisfied at their workplace. And I would have to say that this has to be blamed on management, okay? In this situation, in my situation, I can see that the people that I had to work for demonstrated poor management skills. Just because some managers, sure, they get the job done, okay? But as far as keeping the morale high in the company, they do a very poor job at doing that, okay? Most of these managers, I would say, they can't claim that they're not trained, okay? They can't claim that they didn't know, and they can't claim, and they will try to, okay, but there's no excuse, okay? I'm talking about people who work in the kind of environment that I work in, particularly office, administrative type accounting or whatever you want to call it, within an office structure, no matter what it is, okay? Whether you're holding a position in any organization, basically, management is supposed to know these things, okay? Managers are supposed to be trained on things like sexual harassment, racial harassment in general, okay? But I know for a fact, that every 2 years, managers are supposed to be trained on sexual harassment. So, yeah, they receive this knowledge, especially people who have things like master's degrees and stuff like this. They should have known within their course of study. If not, then they should have understood this knowledge when they have these sort of trainings, okay? But yeah, in this situation, you will see that when it comes to being able to apply the knowledge that they're supposed to have, they completely disregard all of it, okay? And I think the main reason is because they don't know how to apply or recognize these situations. That's a problem. And this proves my point that, you can sit here and go through, be in debt up to your eyeballs and walk out with a master's degree. But if you don't know how to apply the knowledge, if you don't know how it relates to what you're supposed to do, then it is pointless, okay? It has absolutely no bearing. You basically just wasted a bunch of money. And so my point is that should not have ever be the only determining factor as to whether you hire an employee. That's how it's always been. Okay, of course, since I have been dealing with gang stalking, I have noticed that a lot of people have been fucking, changing the rules when that's never supposed to be the case. However, there are many untrained managers, and I wouldn't say they're untrained. They are trained, but they do not know how to apply the knowledge. They fail in that. So these people are basically not qualified to do the kind of work that they're doing. They participate in bullying behavior. This does demonstrate a lack of their knowledge, and also it shows that they lack in people skills. This is not what you do to promote harmony within a company. And so a lot of people I have read, not they didn't necessarily relate to bullying in the workplace, but oftentimes, I read stories about people who are unhappy with their manager. They'll even go so far and say that the manager is narcissistic, which there's a lot of those people. There really are. But they'll say things like, they don't follow up with their employees. They don't, engage in their employees. They don't care really about the morale of the company. They don't acknowledge, the extra mile an employee might go through to accomplish a task, or the extra contributions that they add to a company. So and they don't get sufficient rewards. And not everybody's looking for a monetary reward, but they do want acknowledgement, and they want some sort of confirmation that, yes, I'm being acknowledged. Yes, my skills are appreciated. Yes, I have a future in the company. And many times managers fail to do this. It's just a day in, day out type job for them. And I can tell, people really don't have the motivation or the drive to really exercise proper management skills, okay? And this, I think, is the main contributing factor as to why it's become so considered normal for people to work a job here 2 years, and then they're going to go find something else. And most people think, okay, that's about standard now. And it's unfortunate. It shouldn't be that way. Because when a company is really thriving and they're doing good and they're stable, okay, they do what they can to retain their employees, okay? When people come in and come out, it's a waste of time and money because you're constantly retraining these people, and only to go ahead and turn them out and then turn somebody else in a few years later. So the thing is that you want to aim for stability, and you want people who are really dedicated in their work. This particular issue shows a lack of so much, and you have to really look at these people. It's like, why would you participate in something like this? First of all, you're not supposed to discriminate against religion. That's right in front of your face, okay? That's one of the main ones, okay? You're not supposed to discriminate against religion. Not supposed to discriminate against race. All of this stuff, okay? Sex of a person's sex, okay? I've gotten like all of it, okay? All because of this issue, and yet not one person thought, this is wrong. This is wrong. How is it that so many people can have all this knowledge and understanding, and yet this kind of thing happen? So this goes to show you that what we think qualifies a person is actually wrong, okay? It's wrong, wrong, wrong. If you walk out the door with absolutely no knowledge of how to apply these sort of things, then you failed miserably. Let's see, undermining employees. Oh yeah, hazing. Now hazing is something that's generally mentioned in a handbook, okay? They may not necessarily write it out or use the word hazing, but hazing is much like doing things like daring people to do certain things, but it is a form of bullying, okay? Hazing also, you see hazing sometimes, like in college. Like, for example, you want to be a part of a certain fraternity or whatever, then they want you to do certain things in order to be able to belong to a group. This sort of behavior leads to bullying, and that's one of the rules in a company handbook, okay? But yet in this situation, most companies do have a company handbook, at least the larger ones do. But yet this sort of stuff is ignored. It's like they don't understand what it is. You're not supposed to bring competitions in the workplace. Hazing is another form of a competition, okay? And it's wrong. It's completely wrong. These sort of things that are supposed to be incorporated or, practiced in a workplace are not being done. If you have a narcissistic manager, which there's plenty of them, you're not keeping employees, you're not retaining them. So people need to look at, what does a person have to offer a company, more so than just the average run-of-the-mill type people who think that they have something when they really don't. Okay? And I'm like blown away at what I've come to understand when it comes to how incompetent people really are. Like, I used to feel confident, like if I turned in some paperwork at a company or you know, or I had an order, I was going to a company and I wanted to them to process an order. I always, because a long time ago, it really seemed like people really knew how to do their jobs. I'm not exactly sure why, but people really don't seem to care if they're striving for accuracy or anything like that anymore. It's like, and I see people, the way they write their correspondences. I mean, there's just so much that's lacking in the workplace. But aside from that, as far as, you know, retaining companies, I mean, employees and people being happy with their job, it's the fact that management doesn't really, the people in management lack social skills. They lack social skills, they lack understanding, and they don't really know what they're doing, you know, and this is very, very obvious. Also, there's a failure to promote within. I see a lot of people, you know, they hire friends from their family or family members. And I remember talking to this one person, they were saying, yeah, you know, he's going to fire his niece. He took a long time to figure it out and why he decided to get rid of her. But he has to because she's not really doing anything, you know, and he's wasting money. And I kept thinking, well, I had to commend him, you know, because I know it's a very difficult thing to terminate somebody that you're related to, you know. But oftentimes, you know, unless, of course, the family member is as enthusiastic as you are about the company, then you are basically carrying around dead weight. So instead of hiring your friend just because of your friend, you need to be able to make sure that this person really is fit for the job. Don't let emotional ties be the determining factor as to whether this person deserves a job or not. Because, you know, this is your company. You know, you have to think about the survival of your company. You can't always use emotions in these sort of decisions. And I see a lot of people who hire their friends, family, and they're hiring basically monsters in the company. So not all the time, but, you know, because sometimes there's people who have family-owned businesses, and maybe this particular person, they learned a certain skill so they can work in their family's business, and it works fine because they love their business just as much as their uncle or their father or whoever. But sometimes, you know, they don't really show a lack of enthusiasm. They're just taking the job because it's convenient for them, because it's a relationship that, you know, they could use to their advantage, and that's what they're doing. And that's all it means to them. So that becomes kind of a problem, you know. So anyway, yeah, I think companies really need to start looking at, you know, what's really important. You know, can you demonstrate what knowledge? Do you understand? Can you apply it properly? Doesn't matter. You know, you can sit there and say, oh, I have a master's degree, but if you do the sort of things that are obvious to participate in certain things like this, like gang stalking, you know what I mean? There is no excuse for what happened. None. I don't care what anybody says. You know, there is absolutely no excuse to have done what these people have done. Zero. You know, so you can't say, well, I didn't know. Because if you say that you didn't know, if any of these people said that they didn't know as a manager, that they didn't know, that's bullshit. Okay, and really these people should be fired. Okay, I would take it, if I was an employer and I knew that one of my managers did this, of course, a lot of business owners did it too. But see, business owners don't necessarily understand the administrative functions of how a business works. Sometimes they just want to sell their product or whatever, or perform their service. That's why they hire somebody to make sure that this sort of stuff is running well. Okay, you're making sure the employees are intact. You're protecting the interest of the company. Okay, if I had an employee who participated in this, I would fire them. I would, you know, because this is one of these things that would cause a major, major lawsuit. So yeah, I mean, I'm just, you know, I'm looking at things and I'm shocked. I'm shocked, okay? Everything that these people were supposed to know, they blatantly, I mean, loud and proud, went out and just did all of this stuff to show that they lack the skills required to do their job. So I'm just flabbergasted. Like, I don't even know what to say. Yes, I'm appearing in this video today. I figured, you know what, I'm going to do something a little bit different. And today I woke up and I thought, you know, most of my go-to clothes, this would be my pairs of my denim shorts, my favorite black skirt that I wear a lot, all of these items are like dirty, okay? So I had to pull from my closet things that I usually don't wear as much, okay? I have them, I like them, but they might be a little too, not dressy, but, yeah, kind of like a little too dressy, I would say, for like just the grocery store. But sometimes I wear them anyway, just because, you know, I'm in the mood. But today I did this completely out of, you know, necessity. I couldn't find something that, I don't only have a few hats. I don't have a bunch of them. So I thought, okay, I'd wear my ponytail. Now this is my ponytail, the one that I was telling you about. I wear my hair in braids usually with the hats. And then this is my ponytail. And I fluffed my ponytail out as much as I possibly can. If you can see the back of it, you'll notice that it's longer here on the sides, and right here, you'll notice there's a huge gap. So yeah, I don't have the hair length and the ability to wear my hair out. So also, we were talking about discrimination. This is my hair issue. My hair issue, I can't do anything about my hair, okay? So it is a sexual harassment issue as well as a racial issue to put that sort of stipulation, especially when other people do it as well. So all of these things are violations, okay? Major lawsuit type violations, and yet these people participated in it. So I have confidence in my skill. I have confidence in my abilities. You know, I'm very enthusiastic about the kind of work I do. I understand the business structure. I understand human behavior, okay? And I have a great understanding of business law. You know, business law is something that really interests me. You know, I like the intricate details. You'll probably think, well, you know, you're somebody who likes accounting. I do like accounting, okay? But I also have these other understandings of these things, and I like kind of combining the two of them. But I would say that any manager, whether you're working in accounting, you flip pizzas, you know, you are, what do you call it, a construction manager, whatever kind of manager you are, these are the basics that you're supposed to know. You're not supposed to do any of the things that these people have done, okay? You're not supposed to bring these sort of competitions into the workplace. Anything that relates to religion, race, marital status, all of this stuff, okay? These are illegal and they're discriminatory, okay? So for people business owners who did this and maybe didn't understand it, I would look at your managers and I would really start thinking, what the hell, okay? Because because without this understanding, you know, because this particular position is supposed to protect the company, okay? Other than that, then it's just basically a bunch of forms, okay? It is. It's like, let's hire this person, let's make sure we got their ID and their social security number, and we're processing your paperwork. It's basically a bunch of forms, okay? Why you're hiring this person, why you're paying this particular manager is because you are not just wanting them to be able to orchestrate and how to get the job done. You want to make sure that your employees are happy. You want to make sure that the company is working in a functional manner, and that you're hiring somebody who's protecting the interests of the company. What these people did, they opened your company up to a major lawsuit. Okay, you don't want that. You want somebody who's going to conduct themselves well with your employees internally as well as externally. So anyway, I'm going to wrap up this video, and I think I might be done with videos. I do have some things I want to do. I worked on my taxes yesterday. I'm getting a refund, but it's not going to actually touch my hands. It's actually going to be absorbed into the debt that I had from the previous year. So anyway, I'm going to be back with maybe another video later, but my goal is to do maybe some arts and crafts. I'm trying to get in the mood. You know, I've just really had a rough week. So I will be kind of in and out, maybe, who knows, I don't know, I can't really say what I'm going to do, whatever I feel like, I guess, at the time. So I will wrap up this video, and I will talk to you later. Have a great day.